Hello, my name is Jacob Walters, and I'm going to be taking you through 5 different lower body yoga mobility poses today. So the first thing we're going to start with today is going to be a tree pose. So all that's going to be is going to be a single leg balancing pose. We're going to bring our foot up to our shin or beyond our shin onto our actual full leg. We don't want to rest it onto our knee because that's going to put too much pressure on the knee. So we want to make sure we go one or the other. And we're going to be staying here for 3 to 5 breaths. This one's a really good one because it is static, but it's not really static because you have all these little tiny micro muscles inside of your ankles that are doing little corrections the whole entire time. So you're going to find that if you do this pose for a minute or longer, you're actually going to have a really, really good burn in those ankles, and it's going to help whenever you do a lot more other athletic movements. You're going to have a lot more stability. So we're going to hold each one for 3 to 5 breaths. And then from this one, we're going to move to a downward dog. So a downward dog is going to be our hands on the ground and our feet on the ground as well. So we're going to plant our hands at the top of the mat. We want it to be the top portion right underneath where our fingers are, not our palms completely, but right underneath the stem of the fingers to be our base in the ground. And we're going to put our toes in the ground, but we're also going to be driving our heels down. So we want to be slowly building that mobility in our ankles as well. And then while we're here, you want to be shooting your head through your arms. That's going to help with posture and mobility as well. So we're going to hold it here for about 3 to 5 breaths. And then from here, we're going to work straight into a child's pose. So the child's pose is going to be not far off from the downward dog. We're just going to put our knees on the ground here, about shoulder width apart, and then we're going to sink onto our back feet here, as well as reaching our hands forward. And then once you get here, there should be a slight dip in your tailbone, and that's going to create a stretch in the lower back there. So this one's a really good one as well for your ankle mobility. You'll see that my body is over top of my straightened ankle, and that's helping to get a nice stretch at the top of the ankle. Hold this one for 3 to 5 breaths. And then we're going to be moving on to another closely related pose, which is going to be the frog pose. So I'm going to switch and go this direction because it's nice to go horizontally on the mat so that you can have the padding on your knees, because you're going to have to widen your knees out here, and then you're also going to be flattening your foot out to the side, this direction on both sides. What that's going to do is that's going to help you sink into the front portions of your hips here to give yourself a nice stretch. So once we get down with our feet back here, we're going to plant our forearms on the ground, and then we're going to kind of sink back into it. So you don't really want to be bouncing back into it because we don't want to force any range of motion. We want to be gradually building it. You want to sit here for about 3 to 5 seconds. And then we're going to be working on to our last pose, which is going to be the pigeon pose. So this is also a hip mobility pose, except rather than working this front portion here, it's going to be working this back lateral glute right here. So what it's going to be is, ideally, we're going to have our shin parallel with this wall here in front of us. So I don't have the mobility, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to draw my foot back just a little bit here. And then we're going to lay it down flat on the ground and actually put our weight over top of this leg. So you're going to want to rest in this position. This one's an easy one to kind of sit in for about a minute at a time. And like I said, it's going to be working that back lateral glute back here on my backside. So we're going to sit here for about 3 to 5 seconds. We'll switch. Same thing. If you can get your leg parallel out here in front of you, that's ideal. If not, you can draw it back a little bit and be sitting over it. And from this side, you can kind of see it's going to be working this lateral glute here is what we're stretching out. So we're just going to sit into this one for another 3 to 5 breaths as well. And that is going to be all for us. This stretching routine is really, really good to do after a lower body workout or just anytime during the week. A lot of people don't have lower body mobility, so this one is a really good to add.